choose on this roster, Tony. A party astronaut legend, in the words of Adam Grizz when I spoke to him right before this. And I gotta say, Tony, that's nothing far from the truth. He's a GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, he's won a Fragadelphia. He won Frag 17. That's a pretty big one to have under your belt. Alongside, not alongside, but on the other side, actually, of what was the other Evil Geniuses team featuring WolfY and Chop. So what a weird and wacky way the world has of working, and where the players have come all around and about face to now clash in the same tournament. Perhaps it'll have to start here for Marsborne's sake, as they look to move forwards in this one. Speaking of moving forwards, it's a slow creep and crawl towards Banana with Tsunami, starting to build up that momentum as the wave looks to crash. 4 on B, though.
This is where we talked about the punish pick coming for Tsunami with the ball in hand. They're going to stick up their newest member up on the boost. That's Stamina that's already showing his impact. It's a great kill up there, but the worst is about to be brought to it here on B. WolfY, he can get smoked out. This is just going to be better for the Flash, and now Grizz is swinging out a player we put into the limelight, and it just gets sweeter. Shared at New Box with the new man here to go ahead and go down. Chop to finish it off, but welcome to Marsborne. Viz, he gets a 2K at the back of the site.
Yeah, that read almost not enough from Marsborne, but also relying on the multi-frags works out in kind, as Grizz gets the drop on everybody as they're looking to fight towards the back ends of the site, and back into Coffin's just the same. He gets 2 players blindsided entirely. He himself blinded, but with so many more players on the run, there's never a question. Engaging does give them a little bit of a scare, but, all's well that ends well. And up towards this same space, it looks like a 3-man stack over towards B, anticipating that Tsunami may look to run it in the same direction once again. You can see the utility might actually warrant them to go for the late Banana retake. The flashes have been excelled, one through the smoke and one up high. It's WolfY who's making sweet connections, but not going to be able to finish any kills. Instead, he finds himself once more folded, but this still sees nade after nade sent in transgression both ways.
WolfY getting busy already. Gotta love to see it. Was in and out of that PA roster, right back down, obviously rejoined. And, we did touch on their controversy before. There was a split up and then roster rebuild. Got to the point in which you see it now, but getting some action unofficially is WolfY right here. Just saw Wolf do so much damage here. WolfY on the A site is going to get the same dealt scenario. They are getting destroyed up here through lane, and it is through the avenue of Grizz and Viz, who has a 3K on the site and is donning those red Marsborne colors well.
I'm not saying to bench WolfY anytime soon, but listen, if you're looking to make our lives hell, you could always pick up Wiz. Right now, though, we've got Wiz, the Opper.
Oh, facts! Part of the original fan roster that was on Forsaken that won it, man. Remember that.
Yeah, and the RBGs and the Evil Geniuses, and again, lumping them all into the same conversation at one point or another in their history is so weird. The web that's been woven, flash up high, and they're very dedicated to this 3B stance. They've not yet wavered from it, but soon enough, Wiz, in dropping his utility, is going to look to support them on their endeavors and taking it again as the force of the last was shut down. This one's looking to be the same. Goodbye, Stamina. Hello to an opening duel, not 1, but 2, double down, and now they can afford to play a little bit farther back if they'd like.
Dude, Wiz has plot armor right now. Excuse me,
bomb,
Viz.
though.
You got me saying it. He's staring him down. Laser coming out of that A1S. It is beautiful. And Marsborne are just laying it on these pistols. Pretty clean for them to maneuver.
Only cool comms. Sitting it out right on the other side of that smoke. Just elevated ever so slightly. Don't think Viz actually saw him, but I mean, if you are cool comms here, you can afford to just sit here forever while your team discusses what they are to do in the next and first gun round in full you'll have.
WolfY took it before it could even walk further into Wiz's crosshair. Let your other astronaut get in on the action while you are currently donning the jersey. Matsum will sit knowing that I think his crew is looking pretty warmed up on this side, ready to go, coming out of the player break here. I ran into WolfY at the major. He was enjoying it.
That's good. They are super, super committed to this concept. As long as they have SMGs, I guess that they just want to have their numbers up in this direction. This time, a lot farther back they'll play, however, and Tsunami look to just make a statement at some point that they can take banana control and then do it away the rest of the map control after the fact. Set up for the flash, Walker getting closer, just going to go for a little bit of information. Nobody's home. And it's been a rarity to see Viz actually leave, and for the first time ever he will. But will it be unfounded? Will this be the time actually where they would have been correct? Because they say to themselves, surely not 4 times in a row, right? But both teams are effectively saying that right now. It's Marsborne, however, who are taking the bait. Smoke towards Archway. No more vision for Viz, who made his way back. But now it's the bomb who can still be seen towards B.
Just down here to drop to lurk. Drop is a player that has developed from an opper to an entry fragger to a do-it-all guy for a lot of his different squads. And here with, you know, kind of a little bit of a chip to investigate with 35 seconds to go. He's just kind of waiting as the tripwire in middle in case the rotations get overzealous here. The hit is going to come with 25 to go, and with one Molotov in the pocket right to just get thrown out by Chop, they're going to be stopped up by it. With the flash to go through, this is 18 seconds, and now Marsborne know they got to pounce
no more
on
nades.
It's literally a red carpet to walk through for Viz. He is going to get just a very good time. Stamina gets that check down, but it's all alone to drop, and he's all the way on the other side of the map.
This is absolutely wild. By the 10-second mark, they're only then just getting across the CT smoke. There were no flashes left for them. No nades to flush any positions. No Molotovs to turn up the heat onto anybody playing a position that they can spring on them, seeing as the kills had not been found. Drops late. Lurk ineffective. A painful way to close on a 4th and the first to rifle it up, and they get barely anything as far as kills are even concerned. 3 yet to frag. It's the in-game leader and in-game leader 2 who have gotten 3 apiece.
Certainly so. Unfortunately, in-game leader 1 and in-game leader 2 couldn't figure it out on this Anubis offense, Inferno offense before. It was pretty tough for Ben Leeton Austin, getting all the way down, seeming potentially like the same story here. Oh! Tsunami and the boys. Their stamina running you down with the MAC 10. And with a little bit of adrenaline now in the wings and with an AK to fly on through. This is complicated. It's sparse. There is not a clear way in for Tsunami, and they're indecisive. Cold feet out of B.
One player to anchor out A, and he's gotten closer into halls to try and stop them or catch the drop onto them, as there is somebody who's made an appearance. It's Grizz, but he's a little bit afraid to make his way any closer to the site itself. Moto exposed, having to turn about and away. Delay, that's the name of the game for WolfY, but once Grizz looks to reinvestigate, he's met with sprays from 2 players, one close and one afar. The bomb could absolutely be planted now. Viz and Chop across from one another at arches. They're looking to try and get something as a ways into this to justify their continuance, but right now they're being locked out one after another by utility, but a shot and a tap bursted away. See you later, sayonara Stamina.
And now to actually give this a good go. Molotov that's going to be just placed for it, and it's a dink to warn you. Tsunami, they're throwing a tarp over their first round, covering this A site quite well. Coolcom's dropping Poseidon will hopefully see themselves out alive in the fray. Right now, it's sort of the old guys club turning up for Tsunami. A pretty good round there by Stamina, and Cajun has been having a couple great calls. Don't forget about Coolcoms. Just calling them old. He had a great kill, though, that round. I believe it's 27 for Cajun, 26 on Stamina, 27 for Coolcoms. That's an average age and a half.
Haven't really noted them in this first map just yet, but, you know, time to come. Pacey is Stamina, actually taking down the boost to the bottom side of the smoke. I think WolfY was tunnel visioned over the top left of it and attempts to try and see anybody on a cross or an elevation across wood. Stamina, I mean, he can count his lucky stars. He was even able to get that one, frankly, but seeing as it's been
fearless.
Pretty quickly rectified, it's kind of awkward that, you know, Tsunami have all this time to redirect.
I enjoy that type of confidence by Stamina in some of his first officials back. That's a pretty hard stab immediately into the round. Marsborne now have a deep smoke into Library. Nothing here to cover up onto Viz or Walco. They're going to need to take care of things, and they do, just to the most part. Poseidon left to his own devices now, Tony, and separated our Grizz and Chop. Not a problem.
Grizz takes him out before he is allowed to find himself a post-plant opportunity while Chop was taking his sweet time. Closest round we've seen since the Tsunami swing. But they're first and only on the offensive. But also having maintained in the last couple of buys their position in regaining another not so long after. But lost bonus will do that to you. Nades out. They'll eat them. Stamina.
Oh, gosh.
Goodbye again. Banana control, man, just isn't it right now.
They don't have their Stamina being flung out of a slingshot literally with the first spawn to make that contact. He gets punished with the nades now. That's a frustrating scene over on Banana. But Chop is going to give him one back. Do they fight forward in this? The body posture would just suggest yes. Viz takes that first fight and wins it. And Poseidon just ducks back and forth between that position. This is really no contest here at the top of B. Drop is going to have to do a whole lot right now to find a gap on A.
The inability to hang with the big dogs at this juncture. The last time they'd clashed, a Thunder Pick meeting, a Marsborne 2-0, a close one at that. Nuke and Dust 2. This time,
I casted that.
Neither of them, being seen. Not until the third, if we can even get there, but dying all the way on the other side of the map. The banana hold will never have been tested.
To be honest with you,
the initial.
So I believe I broadcasted that with Brandon Dog, who was loving the NACS over on Thunderpick. And where we were getting that down on the nuke, it was actually pretty competitive. I wonder if that's the reason why in this matchup it's actually avoided from Marsborne. Not that it was too crazy, but the Dust 2 actually was very close. I mean, it was going into overtime. Yeah, they were using a guy called Keto, who's actually like a
That's
top,
my boy
like,
Tristan.
Okay, that's your homeboy? Apparently he's like sick at Marvel Rivals, I heard.
Yeah.
That's what Cajun told me. Is that so?
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's really good. Really, really good.
What's your Marvel Rivals character of choice, Tony?
Either Iron Man, Punisher, or Cloak and Dagger.
That makes sense.
Getting into Scarlet.
Oh man, I just learned about that getting info roster that's going to be playing in a little bit. Seems interesting.
I don't know who they're playing with.
Oh, you'll find out, pal. I'm not going to steal anybody's thunder. I'll make sure they're live first before I tell our stream. But as we get this on, we got a river of our own to watch.
They just like constantly stall out at bottom mid. Tsunami. It's either the stall out at bottom mid or the instant banana take, and it's never really anything all too quick towards halls. Never anything really aggressive in order to pull or instill fear into the players at topside mid before banana's even been a question. So yeah, there's an arch smoke. A molly in response. There's no way they get up. They're still at banana, and they've been heard relatively within the last 10 seconds. So now they'll walk it back. Now they'll just reel it back in and try and utilize what little they have as far as a player in halls. And Marsborne haven't really been pressured, haven't really felt the need to go for any sort of deep recon in that area. And clearly for good reason.
Yeah, this is a different role altogether. And Grizz, Viz, they're prepared for it. That's going to be fun to say. Especially if they continue to play this A site together. Where they're playing it right now, it's bulletproof, Tony.
Look at this, man. The 1-2, big and small. Fast, extremely pacey. 18 seconds. They're going to go through this, and there's going to be two players still onto the site. Chop's not yet been discovered. There's a spam from spawn. They can just take one kill and the round is effectively close to over, or they could both get absolutely decimated, and
He's
there's
coming
room
through the
for
smoke with the
plant.
op.
With 5 seconds, he can try to stop it, and he's done it. There's no way in the world that this is how it transpires. How upsetting. It barely scraped by as far as a 2 versus 2 would have been concerned, but Cajun, with too much to hold and too much on his mind, is overwhelmed.
That's damn spicy, but not for the heat that you thought was coming from the IGL. I mean, that is stolen out of the opposing. The captain comes through the smoke, absolutely decks them with the AWP. But speaking of captains, Tony, I believe Boss is gonna need a new one.
I just saw.
Yeah, so
They're
getting
playing
Info's
with B-Wills
roster,
right now, and Sauce.
that is Sauce Boy, friend of Juice Boy 2014, former Davenport player. Oh, a legend. What a time, NACS. Yeah, Snav, Slump, Marky, Shane, and Dare, the current 5 for getting info.
This world
Semphis
keeps getting
coach.
crazier. B-Wills is back. That baffles me.
That's big.
And Sauce, again. I don't know who Sauce is, but...
Sauce Boy. I
No,
think
just
he
Sauce.
dropped,
It just
no,
says
he
Sauce.
dropped the boy at some point, I believe. Unless that's a
I'm pretty sure
different
Brandon
player.
Sauce Boy is a different guy, yeah.
Oh, I apologize.
Yoy.
We'll have to get that down in carbon datum. Find out exactly when he comes from, where he comes from.
Where did he go?
Back to site, WolfY said. But that may all be a trick. He's got more to give utility-wise, but at 50 fighting in Viz, he had me just standing so confident. You're at 11 and 4. Just being toyed with in brackets, and now to just run it uphill. You're just gonna just get in once. It's one quick flash out of that AWP, and they haven't not even seen into this pit setup yet. It is WolfY going wild, pulling out that USB and not even required. Marsborne with the highlight reel are not. They are paving their way on this Inferno. Call it a honeymoon, Tony.
No. Is that okay?
That's fine. It's a little more tropical on Anubis. That would be maybe a little bit better.
This is a 3-player B hold once more, off in the hands of WolfY while Walco turns. To react off one another. It's an anti-flash setup. And it may be one to work out.
Stamina clips.
There goes one. Falls to fray. Another in this B site. They can't do much of anything. Chop, I mean, drops the nade, but Cool Comms has gone beyond it. He thought he was a lot deeper in the site than that. Hold on, spacing's got to be good here. If you lose any more, you might be in for some hurting. Okay, though, 3v2. This retake should still be obviously possible, but a little more difficult, especially when they split.
How about those stamina entries, Tony? That's really good stuff.
Opping, throwback.
Speaking
Need
into
all but the
banana.
stamina up.
Viz other side, Captain. You have just shooken that beast alive. Bobby's stamina is back, and he's letting you know. Second round on the board here for Tsunami, unless Grizz has a Hail Mary of a clutch thrown up right here. Not sure he'll really even give it that right step. Trying to sneak on in, gets that check out from Old Cajun, and he denies the last chance effort. Through 10, Tsunami of 2.
Ten, 2.
Not a quick start into Banana for stamina again. They're avoiding it. Potentially trying to emulate that pace that doctored a pretty good finish up until WolfY had a highlight reel onto that ace site. He was unconfident within the brackets, and you've seen the Tsunami calling style see to cold feet before in a couple of these plays. Stamina, one of the, newest back to the server after sitting for some time, just seems fearless tonight, and It's been excellent to see, but
Yeah.
Molotov is going to be right on the heads of it, Tony. WolfY and WolfY prepared.
Yeah, just pop out, pop up, pop down. WolfY should have
Beautiful.
easy enough shots to follow through with unless Walco takes them all for himself. Walco eventually falls and leaves WolfY a little more room to eat. And looks like he's done just enough there as Biz won't even allow the bomb to be planted.
Gracious energy flowing through the Marsborne camp right now, hyped up on every end, and I don't think this wheel is going to be slowing down anytime soon, Tony. I mean, literally every single player is on right now. This is seeming like exactly what you were feeling in that original Inferno that we were looking into. PA were trying to punish. They got punished back. Marsborne are punishing Tsunami. I thought we got a new script.
Oh, bang. Another one at the top banana opening. Can't believe it, man. How consistent it's been.
That has been a bold move by Stamina. Pretty consistently throughout the half. There, an easy find for Marsborne. And where they had plenty to give on A, that's their final smoke. They'll just rope back into the site and potentially are teed off upon by Galil's, but it doesn't look like that's actually going to be coming here on this A site. B will be the finish.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Chop with ton of util.
Shocker, am I right? Try it again. One set of utility on two players, about a full set on both. One just missing for Poseidon, but they're both here at the front lines of it. The Incendiary is tossed to the ground, and if Cajun dies, that's all their utility just gone. That's everything they had. Eventually, they'll stall out and stop, only because their opponents have thrown counter utility to make them rethink.
Oh my goodness!
One after another, they'll jump to the sandbags, and they themselves will be sandbagged. That is an absolute breakdown. Cajun and Poseidon, the ones who I mentioned a few moments ago, are the last left up in it. Cajun's getting really crazy here, jumping in through, getting hesitant in the beginnings, and then getting desperate at the finish. We're going to a break at 10-2, but how long of a break will it be? I think it might be just about as long as the close to our game. We'll be right back. It was a hard watch. It really was. Tsunami looking more like a bit of a kiddie pool splash, unfortunately. And Marsborne, frankly, shutting down everything that ever came their way. And well and truly in part to the fact that they've just put absolute numbers into that B site round after round with no fear as to what may go down over on A. And it was bait that was taken.
A kiddie pool splash. Now, I can't disagree with you. I unfortunately cannot. And it was a little bit lackluster considering where we're, I mean, similarly, where it was a poor output by a team that was only probably to take a step into the positive direction tactically, adding another mine to the Tsunami roster. Well, didn't seem to go off the bat too hard. Whereas, to be honest with you, Marsborne may be in a bit of honeymoon camp, but I don't know what Walt goes off on to. He's on his own plot. It's a side quest. He is doing well, 13-8, and farming on this pistol already.
Walco's still looking to stick around, maybe for longer than Cajun would have liked, so he sees him out. Sees still a man disadvantage, though, and nobody on this A site. Seen a lot of stacks, but this time, not right. Flashbang for Cajun. They may even just, I don't even know, save the armor?
Save the Kevlar, baby.
Is that where
I
we're
got
at?
one flash. I'm keeping it in my pocket, Cajun says. They should absolutely go for this.
They can't believe their luck. They think somebody's trying to do something.
What a time. Can't believe our luck. We tried to pick into Marsborne, punish him. You know what some of their losses are to? It's a wild card in Legacy.
Oh, terrible teams.
But they did get, I commentated versus, with, I believe it might have been with you, Marsborne and Daku, all the way back in Series 1 of the Eagle Masters. They got embarrassed on an Inferno, but, I mean, stuff like that happens, online Counter-Strike, and that Daku team, which was, like, the Weeza, and then Nomi, the Nomiz, that Dottie mix, when those duos were, was still actively playing together. I think they're just kind of teamless at the moment. Cajun right outside. Pops the headshot. Grizz gonna get that down. To be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that maybe a guy like that doesn't end up on the end of like a boss roster or something. Like being that we don't know much about this Sauce. I was about to say this Sauce character, as if there's like a lot of history there. We're not sure too much about that fella.
You don't know the lore behind Sauce, dude?
Please teach me. I was given some of the NACS lore in our previous VO3, so enlighten me. And he's quiet. Unreal.
Sorry, chat, I got hacked. What's up?
We'll find out about the story of Sauce later. There's a dual comms dually force prompted up by everything that'll make it do. There's drop going to be taken care of by Grizz, and Marsborne they pull aside for one moment. Curtin gets a kill and doesn't even have to open it this time.
What is going on with this lurk? Oh no!
Whoopsie.
What a whiff. That's okay. Don't give them away back in though. They are their duels. Poseidon looking to take one of his own, and they're both actually gonna double back. One at the halls and one right where his teammate had just been befallen. Great shot eventually to finally put into the place the only rifle left.
The world.
And yeah, I don't really know a whole hell of a lot of what Cool Comms on 9 HP can do here. It feels so very pressured and claustrophobic as now the remainder of this game as they're facing that point.
Yeah, I was hoping that the little 9 HP engine that could in that corner would come through. Unlucky. 12 written on the board. The whiteboard. Supposed to be using dry erase on this. Tony just wrote on it with the Sharpie. Now, why'd you do that? It says 12.
No idea
it's
what
not
you're
going
talking
anywhere.
About.
Excuse you.
If Cajun pulled that off, that would have been generational.
Cajun is already generational, let's be honest.
All right.
Finally made the ECL push after some time. He had so many rosters make it so close, Tony. I think he has like 4 5th through 8th finishes in advance, like before that, just barely missing out on relegation. Has plenty of relegation feats as well. He just makes it in, trying to grind for a Pro League spot. Not going too well. Stamina. Pistols out. Drop gets a good collection, AK in the hands now, and a little something to be proud of on this Tsunami B site.
Yeah, you can push them back for a little while at the very least now, and, you know, facing some of their own medicine that they had in the first half. Marsborne on the other end of the stick, the shorter one drawn. I wonder how long they'll hang around in this position with a good amount of utility to play for pulling that out from Tsunami or working for some deeper map control as that ever-consistent arch smoke has been lobbed out. Not at all choreographed. Still going to stay at 2-2, and a deep Molotov, incendiary, pardon me, almost catches WolfY on a sound cue.
Drop getting them prepared. Cajun to take some attention. A little bit too early on this flash. I think Drop got to him. Is give him the second serving, and they're fading into the CT smoke. These should be good fights for Poseidon to take. And now it's a 1v1 that is directly one on to Drop. And so with that Galil passing along into the backhaul, Tony, and that smoke fresh, gonna have to be down to Cool Comms here to come up and collect from B.
Yeah, but at Banana, he is shut down, given no chance, given no sign. And Poseidon just sitting behind a smoke feels very difficult, but they're separated to where Chop, I think he'll take that first point to when then Grizz can swing off the back ends. Exposition not shown actually by the deeper player at Banana, but timing in his favor, and Chop finds them the 13-2. It's spelled out in black and white, Mark. It doesn't get any easier than that.
Man, Inferno is just not going well for the picking team here in our last two BO3s. It is 13-2 way.
See if they can kick it on this second map, Mark. I mean, what we had witnessed just felt like an open book read page by page, word by word by the guys of Marsborne, as if they've read it before. And frankly, going into a map like Anubis, we can't see the same side of T's that we did on Inferno as far as Tsunami are concerned. This is the pick of Marsborne, so with that being the case, Tsunami do get the pick of the litter as far as the two are concerned. It's the offensive that they'll take.
Yeah, the previous series that we were referring to that, you know, happened not so longer than a month ago between these two squads in another Tier 2 event. Look, I mean, it was Tsunami playing with Bloodspot that day. I mean, particularly even with a substitute who doesn't have a lot of competitive experience. They brought two close maps versus Marsborne, and unfortunately, I think on one end, it's Tsunami potentially not playing their best Counter-Strike today. That much is clear to me, but I think it's Marsborne playing in a great stint. Let's see if they can continue that honeymoon on to map number 2. It's Tsunami. They reach into the A site with a good opportunity to go with the ball in their hands first on Anubis.
5 versus 5 even on the retake now are Marsborne. It's really awkward, particularly for the players deep into CT spawn, because they've all clumped up in this same area. The street is littered with T's, but now soon littered with bodies lay limp to the ground as not a single kill will come after the plant until it's the dying embers seen from Cool Comms, as it's a absolute chaotic clutch as far as the retake is concerned, but one in which clearly one is better than the other. A 3K for WolfY in all of it.
What a great way to roll out on that dime. I was kind of getting my hopes up for that post plant. To be honest with you, I thought that Tsunami were quickly out on the track and out to an interesting pace with that plant. But Marsborne are quite vicious and remind us of the scenes on map number 1 where, I mean, it was Tsunami that did tease in and reach at the beginning, but then are immediately 13-2'd. We'll buy back. I got a bomb plant zone.
An alternate to the deep E-box smoke spoken about before. But one thrown to the stairs, also trying to halt them. A little bit gapped right now is Drop. I don't know how that would have gone if he would have just been outright killed by Chop at that moment. He would have had room and time to fall away. But that's not a world that they're going to have to face the reality of. Instead, it's an A main pop to where Chop unblinded, drops a smoke, and he may be able to keep them in their place before they can come through. A really, really quick Tech 9 spam. Gets them their kills. Unpulled away for Cajun, not anticipating the tarp. And Walko to find a triple kill. They've handed off the baton from WolfY to him, and now leaving the clutch up for Grizz and Biz. The names we've said so many a time on Inferno, and they'll all chime in for their kills by the end of it. Both of them unite to find Marsborne their second prior to a plant.
I mean, they sprint away on this track on A, Tony. That's a great rotation. You talked about the handoff in the site. Well, those B players got there in time and just knitted a great one. Marsborne had really it all to take where, I mean, it was WolfY kind of in the wide open. That could have gone better for him, but Tsunami with clean entries. They take that much, but Wolfy and his FAMAS, man. I mean, unironically, quite a great effort here from Sub, replacing Motum to just for today. Potentially for tomorrow, too. I don't see this one potentially ending up in the reverse sweep the way it's going right now. It's quite an energy that Marsborne pull into their first competition with since the player break.
Spitting, rather chewing up and then spitting out these Tsunami players in round after round. Another flawless one. Not another, but not in this map at least, but about as close as it'll get. Have the majority of these rounds been. Keeping them low on the kill count in a lot of these conversions in both maps now too is a recurring theme for Marsborne. Now working out. I would like to play with top site once more. I believe they've actually tried to take control of this position with a flash up high. The molly on the mark, and Cool Calm still holds his spray, holds his nerve, and holds his ground at A main for maybe another. And WolfY, who swings on a great second, but even still, losing those two is kind of hard to recover from. What is the group up now? They're all split.
Caught off guard due to the Molotov covering out that little stint. A great hammer thrown into that A site. That's 2 bodies gone, all due to Cool Comms. But now this round thrown on a T on a timer. We're going to see how this ticks away. It's a little bit of contact made, and actually actual contact. It's Stamina does actually get hurt by that spam that comes through by WolfY. Not sure this is going to be so prolonged and held. It's that A site that is going to need a bit of a patch. Somebody to look off of it. Grizz investigating, calling canals clears. Likely to say, get ready for an A main hit of some kind. Cajun sneaking in right now is going to catch them off guard. But now this much is clear. It's the B site who's actually on the hook right now, and Tsunami reeling in.
He is aware of the fact that he'll likely attempt to be pushed out with a flash, or in this case a Molotov, pulls all the way deeper into canals to try and keep himself safe. And Poseidon, speaking of safety, isn't willing to path out to street to try and reclaim B control. Instead, he looked to try and hold together. Cajun has been dealt with. He has been killed. The 3 versus 3 is now on, and in E-Box now they've taken up that position for themselves. And oh no, the spray missed off the mark for Poseidon, and a snap from Grizz. What a quick reactionary kill to where once again the T's have the drop on them. And speaking of drop, almost the 180. Good lord, my heart rate rises as everyone was let low. There was a world, but again, not one we live in. Instead, we live in Mars' world right now, it feels.
The Turkish-Canadian player denied with a good first shot onto WolfY. That could have been a potential good chance for a Tsunami player to step up with a flashy clutch. Perfect through 4. Marsborne are really on a good stint. Grizz yet to go down. Viz in that same conversation. Gotta see how practiced they are with this new player. See exactly what spots he's in, and we already spoke about, right, I mean, the construction of this Marsborne roster, right, the press release that they, made about how this roster was constructed, and, their words, I mean, the cornerstone was minus, so gotta really beg how a player like Viz, who's, been out of action for some time, is gonna, play these roles on more than just a blowout on Inferno. And there could be more out of whack today, considering Walco, but yeah, I think he'll be cool to play anything.
Losing stamina early again. It's a bit of an ouch. Flashbacks. Now, execution pulled and pinned. Ready are these smokes in line, and already at the front of A main is Cajun. He's going to be sending us through, throwing the Molotov and receiving a flash behind. Not actually affected by his Cajun. Wolf needs to get away or get a kill. Back up, hit the tarp, and hit the deck as another kill is concerned. It's a player from the top ends of that broken wall who's actually able to help him in his endeavors, and Poseidon left to it all. A clutch to where if he'd like, the off is an option, but in 2 versus 1, I think he may be better off just trying to pull them apart with the AK-47.
Yeah, the opposing Opper provoked after quite a showing from WolfY right there. Backed at the tarp, but now it's Poseidon that's just as pressed. The pressure coming over. Talked about a clutch that could have game through E-Box. Now on the opposite reign, and with these two names, it's still Grizz, it's still Viz, yet to go down, denying the clutch opportunity once again out of the hands of Tsunami. A fifth gets taken across the line as soon as they find onto the big green. Gotta recover that. WolfY is just absolutely on one tonight. It's a disgusting performance. Quite a highlight he had onto that lane hold, Tony. He hasn't slowed down. 8-3 so far.
More AKs, more Galils, more chances for them to try and get something started early, but another instance where we don't get to see the Poseidon AWP brought out until a good long while. WolfY, not the same. Finding 2 kills in that last round, a godsend. Frankly, something insane, and WolfY actually expected his teammate to drop the smoke. He almost has a collateral. Holy, what a read, and what team play being instilled in even the early stages of the round that Marsborne will not waver from.
From one T-half to the next, stamina has been reverted. I mean, you spoke about it yourself. Had a rough first half of Inferno, but came out with, pretty good impact. Sitting at 1-6 right now. It's got to be a tilter. Fresh smoke on the E-Box. The rest of Canals to be implied by Cool Comms and Cajun. Gotta bring a lot of this control back, but Viz to potentially get eyes on. There's no op to punish here, so it's all just gonna have to be roped into the rifle and successfully on the first. Grizz yet to go down. Can he hold up this line? Hell yeah, he can. It might be a fourth out of the Grizzly Bear and out of Connector. It is off limits. It is Marsborne that are undefeated, and we spoke about it before. Maybe even poetically, it's the baton being thrown to this young man. Grizz, with all the limelight now, is the star of this Marsborne roster.
100%, man. Everybody being given a moment to shine, everybody being given the chance to find their multis, and Marsborne just stepping up right when need be. I mean, it feels as if almost anybody, if asked, could pull away with that. And I mean, against Pistols here, it's just another confidence builder and potential right now being ramped up for Pro League on the line, or at least chances to continue onwards in their goal of reaching it. And Marsborne seemed to want it bad. Tsunami not giving out a timeout, I don't even think, just yet, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember.
Yeah,
maybe one?
I think that I don't believe so, and I think that even between it is that, just that one, I think that says a lot right now. Just working with what they have, don't want to take that breath. I think you might need to see in a couple of those moments of solace to squeeze out everything you can in this first half. Currently with, fortunately, nothing to show for it. Seeming to be a beat pop.
Molly deep. Grizz actually is going to be hit by it, but honestly, truthfully, Marsborne, don't typically give a damn. But what is going on? Utter madness as Grizz eventually hits the floor, regains his accuracy, and controls the scenario to the point where, again, no kills procured from Tsunami.
I would say the statement I just made is absolutely a lie. Many men get caught by their mouse wheel, not Grizz today. Not when he is Viz backing him up, and guess what, baby? That's going to be permanent. 7-0, Marsborne are still in that honeymoon log. I'll go ahead and don that in this first game. This is laying their feet on the mat. Tsunami unable to breathe right here, where this is where the oxygen is supposed to come on this Anubis.
Seen Cool Comms in this spot before. He doubled up at that point, even with the odds up against him. Nice nade, deepening beyond even the Molotov's position. And a second to Cajun as he's eaten that just as well. A snack, an appetizer if you would, followed by the main course. But getting his just desserts for an A-main overextension perhaps there leaves them susceptible on two different sides of the map. But Cajun even then dropping that man advantage by 1. Cool Comms still in the red, and they're a player both on A and B. It's the mid pincer that Walco's going to need to be the most aware of.
Getting that down. Wasn't aware of stamina, but they've won these fights so many times. Onto the lurking stamina. It's a nade trying to hit his way. Chop can't quite land the transition. Old Grizz, he's donned up, and with the flank currently online by Drop, he maybe considers the alternative route. Can have a clean bed about it here. Would have to reach 15-0 and a 1v3 right now. And it is a mean crossfire setup between, and Grizz will just let him have it. Now that's some mercy.
Just jiggling about face. Nobody's going to really give him much of anything, I don't think.
His M4 is called On Gang. Assuming
Gang.
that's his. On Gang.
We do not support gang-affiliated relations here.
Only the Justice Gang from Superman.
Justice Gang? Never heard.
Not quite small enough to be a league. Large enough, rather.
Okay.
Potentially basket of rounds they could find themselves within. Tsunami just add their first right here. Right to the top. Nothing down below. But we're just spared in the clutch attempt. Would have been likely removing the rifle out of Grizz, but I think they'll be all well and true to be giving that up first. Grizz gets that down, rather Viz. And now they are not giving them a chance to breathe, Tony. Foot on the neck.
Nade bombards cool comms. Utility keeps them time and time again cut short, whether it be in terms of space or HP or an entire man. Doesn't Stamina know it over on Inferno. The HEs met him almost like homing missiles, blinded his Viz, eventually turns away, and good maneuverability from him even when blind. Good map awareness to find himself in a better place. I don't know how that nade didn't do more. I guess it was just off the lip of the corner to cover. And a minute left with 2 players already having been killed. There aren't very many other options left available to them, to be honest with you. Expecting a re-aggression from Marsborne on one side of the map or the other would be unwise.
Just giving them a tease. Stamina gonna be giving his life to this likely. Give it some character, some believability to this fake. But with 40 to go, they're staring straight through it. Fail not affecting Marsborne. WolfY with a close miss, but they know this is nothing to really give the respect to it. It's 30 seconds and obvious out to be. Viz back at this platform. It's awkward up on some of these angles. Cool comms does catch that. Molotov out is punished. Now Drop would have to hit a good couple of heads. Don't think Stamina will get involved. Hold on to that, and with 1800 should have enough to refresh on the nades. A quick save will come with Stamina. And there's an AWP. Not terrible.
Not terrible. Could be better. Could be worse. Can it, though? Right now, I don't really know, actually. Can it be worse? Could be 8-0, but doesn't really give me much in the way of faith. Not really one way of the map giving for Tsunami. They have found their most amounts of success over towards trying to make something work at A, with 1 clutch round not quite panning out, 1 being converted closely. And now WolfY with the AWP, who has previously walked up towards A main, who has once before tried to get over-aggressive and actually met his maker and effectively given them space into a round. Might do so again, but this time the only difference being is that he's got Chop close and nearby in tucked and anti-flash. Oh, a peek from Poseidon, perhaps, off the flash after?
Almost timed it up perfectly. Chop playing bodyguard, nothing swinging through. Maybe a flash of their own to give away the scenario, give away the setup. You got a smoke back in their faces, deny any catalog, but they pushed past. Excuse me, pushed past it on quite of a sneaky stint. They may not be expecting cool comms in that corner.
Might not, but he's not going to take any sort of a timing off of it. 1 player deep in towards camera, able to turn his back, at least for the time being, with Viz on a jiggle without utility to be able to do anything to stop them. That would be WolfY who would have to lob a flash. Drop is taking his sweet time. 40 seconds, something that we'd seen on late execution. Not really work out, sometimes break down. Now they go towards D-Box, they run it back, 30 seconds, need to break through, need to push even deeper into this site and dig. Pull Grizz out from the depths of dark. Agent with the bomb, Poseidon to his right, both of them nearly falling, but they get the kills required, and that's all that'll matter at the end of the day. It's pure brunt force that pushes them into their second.
As we were talking about in our previous series, speaking about how one-sided it was for LAG and Party Astronauts right here on that first half, it was actually brought closer, right? And we had an entire conversation about how that was, real. And Marsborne here, I mean, if they have, done their best at 8 in this first half, and it is Tsunami that roll up to a 4th, I don't think it's particularly Marsborne that's going to be so disappointed. As we said, it's a pretty good first half they put on. Pressure here to get Tsunami to 8 rather than 4.
Hear all this utility popping off across the board. Nobody met with a duel just yet, though. Stamina a little earlier than we've seen previously, giving mid the look in with the smokes to boot. There's levels to this, and levels into how they'd like to take their control, the smoke, beyond the Molotov intentionally to try and get information on anybody close, stop them from going any further beyond, and to take vision away from somebody like WolfY, who so many a time wants to go for it. This time, given duties of holding over towards middle, it's Walco who's playing supportively for Chompin this time around, and it might be a change-up that'll work out if WolfY can get a 1 or a 2 onto whatever the cross may be, but the bomb dedicated in this direction. I don't really foresee there being a run back to B unless this goes sour right now.
Chop in front of the flashbang. Has to use a whole lot there with no trade potential. AK's just equipped. Chop should not be getting this kill. Cajun with a good trade upon it, but that is not the last link here. And just phasing through the corner of the smoke. WolfY with a great angle. And Poseidon, he is just hit up right again. Confidence flowing through WolfY's veins today, leading his team to a bold 2-0. That's his plan.
Disrespect, man. WolfY, another player with some Pro League experience under his belt alongside Modem, who isn't with us today, obviously, but M80 in Season 18, not even that far away. Season 18 from 22 sounds like it would have been a long time, but in all reality, Season 18 really was only about, I think, a little less than 2 years ago. So he's touched it. He's been there. He's done that. I mean, it obviously wasn't a banger of an outing. They didn't really do all that well, but even still, it's competition that he's faced before, and right now flushing out the competition with his AWP, continuing on into the next, and momentum building even further beyond that into the next half, as their T side should be even remotely as good as this, then it's a worrisome kind of state to be in.
Looking to draw up double digits before the half is actually thrown over. Marsborne would then get the ball in their court. Right here, want to finish on the correct defensive side. Plenty of util to keep them out of B. Double Molotovs in the back pocket. Canals the avenue.
Pretty quiet over on B, though, right now, where Viz is the one who's pushed all the way deeper into street to where Molly's and Smokes. It'll at least get them a plant, and maybe even further into the bomb site to where somebody can get the drop on any rotators. The retake utility is just about as good, and by that I mean a lot better, much better. So, calling in the troops, WolfY come on back, activate on your flank chop, you've got it, and everybody else now working ahead. Flash high, a fight needed, street, the place to be, and tucked into the wall without escape. A 3 versus 3 now with 2 players in the half.
Cuts the head off straight away. Now limping in practically are Marsborne. Gotta get this done. They can really grind this down. This is the type of site where that's allowed, but Poseidon may have just got the anchoring kill. Would have to be his revenge onto WolfY, and it is. It's never clean out here, but Marsborne put up quite a clean half. It's 9-3 overall, how they dominate through. We see you after a quick break.
Poseidon giving WolfY the works, and the same level of confidence that he showed him in the couple of rounds prior. This being a 9-3, this being the time to shine. There's no better. And dual Berettas for cool comms, a single flash and a smoke. That is where they look to find their recipe for success. But will they complete the actual instructions in order to get the dish made, Mark?
Well, they're following the recipe quite well, and right here, even cooking it to perfection. I think this is the exact heat that Marsborne should be, putting off on a team like this. An exact result like this, a 2-0, but in this fashion, in bold fashion. They want to hold him back just for a little bit longer. WolfY has had so many great multi-kills to this point, and then just removed by a pretty good Cajun start. A triple right down here, but now with a 2 versus 3, WolfY and Chop with a chance to stand.
Yeah, he did all that he could there on that side hold, even popping one through the B main smoke, expecting another, but once he goes for the jiggle on timing, it works. And now given a little bit of a split between these positions, if they can get the drop on only a single CT, they may be in for it, but good from Stamina on the clear, the re-clear even, as one of his teammates had already crossed that line of sights. Audible is this P250, loud, and instilling fear into them both. It needs to be the stick. It needs to be somebody to sit on it, I think. If both of them are just going to play back and forth, there's a world where WolfY finds the first and then just swings out for the next, and Stamina's off of it. Does he have the time? I don't think he has a kit, and no, it's chalked. It's 10 for Marsborne. In the dying stages, it's WolfY again in a pistol round to deliver.
What a damn performance that WolfY is putting up here tonight in the clutches when the pistol is in his hands, removed from the big green. Doing some of his best work right here. Dozy-Does would drop in time, enough to make Stamina uncomfortable, and that's Marsborne pushing their ticket likely to tomorrow.
Gotta feel some kind of way about that, man. That's a head shaker.
Yeah, these are tilting results for sure. I feel for you, but you got to keep it right down and in. That's where Tsunami are. Head in the game currently. They go back for a force Tony.
Standing away, Poseidon looking to deal early amounts of damage once that smoke is still there. Once it fades, though, they dip, and for good reason. They don't want to keep themselves open and exposed to the rest of the world, because they don't really have a lot of smokes in order to expend. It's one more from Drop, held in hand right now, looking to be pulled and thrown as soon as there's any further contact today. Now even trying to just group up and make good use of the 5 guns they've got in close range, where the 5.7s can still deal them a dirty hand. We've seen it, earlier today in our first best of 3, and right now at least seeing Coolcom stand up to his oppressors. Sight is theirs. B-box is clear and clean. It's going to be everybody coming from one space, but do they opt to save?
This is a defining moment for the series right here, and honestly, the energy of Tsunami. How are we feeling about this team? How are we feeling about our odds bringing Stamina in? You're facing down a very tough cliff right here. I'm looking at Drop going back on the A side, and I think it's obvious they are not going to be going for this, and it's going to be Marsborne that cruise to 11 in style.
Surely, even still, giving the idea into what could be an exit frag is Cajun for a few moments longer, but the bomb radius, he doesn't want to be caught too much into that. Pulls away into a familiar place. His spawn is where everybody else will relocate following that round's end. The beginning of what could very well also be the end. Map number 2, series point up next. Should Marsborne be able to just stuff down this pistol SMG FAMAS mix bag by, or do they go the full distance in trying to get weapons into everybody's hands and pull out? What would be a miracle? Not quite.
I think for the Tsunami scenes, their fans would love that, but here for NACS, look, I think this is the result that you should be simply cheering for, right? Marsborne is a team that's trying to, be with the M80s, be with the NRGs. That's the goal of this roster, and bringing in more experience with Viz is only going to help them. Great results tonight, but this is how the engine should be burning against, first level ECL teams on their first go around, right? They haven't actually played. They will be in the next season. They have this qualification, and this is them getting ready for it, and Marsborne are exposing them for maybe that lack of experience.
Yeah, just a little bit. Chop wants a couple extra bucks. Should they lose out on a couple of rounds, that'll be nice to have, as Cool Comms actually cleanly does win that one. And now Cajun having gotten an AK-47 is still a potent factor. It's just going to be a matter of closing out on the higher of the two of them. Cool Comms is set hightailing it. Sayonara, not really a great weapon to have, but armor is important, and Cajun realizing he's got the real creme de la creme.
It's going to have to be rich with that AK to actually be as bold of a flavor to turn this thing around. Bullet of 9 rounds. And Cool Comms is not going to find anybody tiptoeing out. Marsborne signed themselves up for 12. And they've already bested their Inferno scoreline. That was at 13-2. Hey, what do we have here? Bit of a Galil on the back end. It looks like Marsborne are about to finish right back down. 16 is all they want to go through.
Atonde la creme, as my favorite Quentin Tarantino villain once said. Wait for the cream. 12-3, dude. I mean, we're gonna need to see something stylish. I mean, Poseidon's up. Hasn't even really been given a shot. Hasn't really even been given the conversation piece from Marsborne to have to worry about. Shut him out of being in contention for even investing in the darn thing. The majority of the series, it would seem. And now, given his shot, will actually mark it. His territory claimed in mid. Goodbye, Viz. And hello to maybe a late round walk-up from Stamina, but he's going to have to do it on a timing because they're all crossing right now, and they're going to see him.
Smoked right past. Stamina will just stay in a stint. Poseidon opened up this round. One of the first opening kills he's found on the op in this series with the limited opportunities that have been lent in the domination we have seen. Quick rotation. Stamina got to get on the Nikes right now. Even with the man advantage, they're going to need every single bit of help that they can get on the back of this A site. They're going to be held up by a great flashbang, and now waiting for this to test. Past 50 seconds to go. It's Marsborne. They're going to have to get their hands dirty.
Yeah, Stamina playing around that smoke instead of playing on the opposite side of it near Tarp, and blinded almost accidentally by the flash that had come over after the fact. The lineup, the Cajuns, a free double kill. Thank you very much, he says as he secures the round effectively with everybody else in literally full swing. Nowhere to run. And we go at least one more, Mark. At least one more.
Great shots there by Cajun to pump a little bit extra life back into this group and continue to go. This will be the end of the bank accounts, potentially from Marsborne, so if they go ahead and knock another down, then they're actually going to be lent into a little bit more real estate on the CT side. We're sprinting this down. This is the kill shot that they're trying to tote up, Tony. A Molotov that's thrown right back in their faces, but WolfY's got other ideas. This is it. He's seeing two players, nades out, and almost gets a good hand, but it's Stamina and Cajun who go back and forth and try and pull up a little bit of persuasion, but the bounce nade, no good. Stamina stamped out behind these curtains, behind these walls. Poseidon and dropped, and the youngest for the Tsunami side will be left to do it. And there once upon a time in this ESL Pro League Season 22 play-in, maybe over, Tony.
You saw that Poseidon's realization settled in. As soon as his teammate had died, it was a hands off of mouse and a hands off of keyboard moment, and now awaiting the smoke to fade. What else can you do? A quick scope, rather no scope, in tandem with a shot missed out from the low HP of the first. It would be incredible. It would be something. The nade may be the opening to kill WolfY, but no, he's down first and wide swung in a fashion we've seen before. Back and forth, the two have gone, but WolfY, unfortunately for the side of Tsunami, the better for it. They are sent packing. And it is Marsborne who enter onto stage 2.
Moving their way in gracious fashion, Tony.